Hey, welcome back, rankers. You know the thing I love about Google is how they keep changing the rules. Why? Well, it makes life interesting. It makes our job more profitable, that's for sure, because people just keep coming to us every time Google changes the rules. Well, there was a rule change a little while back. You may have missed it. It was a couple of years ago, but it's having an effect now. What Google used to say with a mobile site, when mobiles were just coming out and the ability to browse the web on your phone was something new and exciting, Google said, you know what you should do? You should have Emm Dot as your mobile site. That's what they said. And, you know, we had Emm.youtube.com, we had Emm.google.com, we had every Google property. Basically, there was an Emm Dot to it. So what did everyone do? Well, let's build an Emm Dot site. Let's build a separate site just for mobile users. That's what a lot of people did. However, and you know, it was recommended, Google even put this in documents, you should do this. Then a couple of years later, just quite quietly, they changed their mind and they said, actually, don't do Emm Dot, do responsive design. Just a lot easier that way, because they only have to have one site and you just change the CSS and you don't have to worry about content populating two databases and all that sort of thing. So just do responsive design. Don't do Emm Dot anymore, because it's confusing and it's cumbersome and yeah, don't do it. So what's happened recently, and we saw this happen at the end of last month, so about 2 weeks ago, we saw Google start to send out these sorts of messages about faulty redirects. Now, for smartphone users. So, for instance, here's one that we got from a client. So, if you go into your crawl errors area, and then if you go into your smartphone area, and then you might see this new tab here. It's called faulty redirects. This particular client had 236. Now, the reason they had 236 is because this is the webmaster, this is the confusing bit. This is, well, it's all pretty confusing, but this is the smartphone tab of the desktop site. So, for instance, we have an Emm Dot version of this site set up in Webmaster Tools, and we have the www version for the desktop set up in Webmaster Tools. And on the www version, it says, oh, look, there's 236 faulty redirects for smartphone users. Because what was happening is that Google was ranking the desktop site in mobile search queries. So someone was searching for something on a mobile, they'd find our client would come up in the search results. The user would click on that result, and it would send them to a page that wasn't necessarily the one that was found in search, because what was happening is the server would detect that this was a mobile phone user, so we'll send them to the Emm Dot site, and the Emm Dot site may have only had 30 pages. It was a cut down version of the desktop site, so people were getting sent to the mobile site, but because we didn't have the equivalent desktop page there, it was going to say to the home page. And in this case, Google found 236 redirects. Now, I don't know whether I've just juxtapositioned the words mobile and desktop a couple of times, so I'm going to explain it one more time because it can be as confusing as hell. If you've got an Emm Dot site, don't, basically. Get rid of it. Just get a responsive design site. And because what will happen is, if you've got an Emm Dot site, your search results may turn up on a mobile phone for your desktop site, not your mobile site. And if someone clicks on that in their mobile and then they get redirected to the Emm Dot version of the site, that could be seen as what Google is now calling a faulty redirect, which will also be a signal for you're cloaking. We're going to take you out of search results. You're sending one result for Google bot, and you're sending another result for a mobile phone user. Now, to me, this is really a shortcoming of Google, and Google's advice a couple of years ago when it was all the rage to have an Emm Dot. Don't have an Emm Dot. Get rid of it. Just, go to responsive design website. I know that's a pain. I don't think it'll change in a couple of years again. I don't think, but just think of it as if you go to a responsive design site, you only then have one site to update. And, this is a message that you will see in your site messages. And it says here, we recommend you investigate these redirects and fix them. Basically, if you don't fix these faulty redirects that you might have for smartphones, you'll probably lose your rankings across the board, because it doesn't seem that the big Google machine is sophisticated enough to actually only show your mobile site for mobile searches and your desktop site for desktop searches, even though you may have it set up properly in Google Webmaster Tools, and you may have done everything properly that Google said to do a few years ago, which they subsequently changed their mind. Anyway, get rid of your Emm Dots. Hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully it's not too confusing. If you're having problems with it, just shoot us a message. We'll give you a hand, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.